Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. What will you say if I ask, what do you think of frugality? You may say that it's a virtue, a quality, or a good part of traditional culture. But what about excessive frugality? I once saw a girl on Twitter sharing a quote from her grandmother that went something like this. My grandmother is in her 90s. She's the kind of person who turns on the air conditioner without worrying about the cost. She once said, if we cannot even enjoy the fruits of social development, what's the point of living for so long? This is a time when electricity bills can buy us life, and we've already taken advantage of it. It's because we've had tough times. We need to take advantage of the convenience now. Well, it reminds me of my grandparents, whose behavior seems so different from the one mentioned above. My grandparents are absolutely a typical example of frugal people. As a child in the family, it is normal for me to be filial to elders by buying them new things. However, their attitudes towards what I had done really made me doubt myself. Every time I buy the new clothes, they will only say, I've told you not to buy me such expensive clothes. Why are you still doing this? Then they would rather let the clothes become moldy and only wear the old clothes which had been repaired. So the money I spent on them was wasted indirectly. I bought them fruits as well, but every time they were only willing to eat spoiled ones instead of fresh ones. While their intention was to save as much as possible, it turned out that more money was spent to address health issues caused by those spoiled food. Raised and grew up in such a family atmosphere, as time went by, I no longer saw this behavior as abnormal. I've naturally thought that spending money in dressing up was a very unnecessary thing to do. And in that case, my closet was filled with worn-out clothes. What's worse, I wore them on all occasions, even at ceremonies. What's even worse is that it has led to my friendship breakdown. I can still remember a few years ago, I broke up with a very close friend. We used to have a lot of fights due to different views on money, where she felt I was too stingy and hard to bear. Sadly, even though I was aware of my problem, I still found it hard to change. But the truth is that no one wants to hang out with a cheapskate, so I had few friends at that time. I didn't realize how this frugal behavior has affected me until one thing switched my mind, from which I was aware that that's an act of excessive frugality. I can clearly remember a few months ago, I went to a meeting. Although it was not the hardest time, unbearable stuffiness was about to melt us with so many people in that little room. I can say in that case, turning on the air conditioner was the consensus of everyone in the room. However, just at that moment, the manager came in. He entered the room, frowned, and suddenly said to us angrily, "Turn off the air conditioner. It's not the hardest time yet. In my time, we could still get along without air conditioning. Are you guys spoiled?" And guess what? He quickly grabbed the remote control and turned off the air conditioner, strode out, leaving the whole room frozen. Although confused, no one dared to contradict. He just educated us to save electricity. How could it be wrong? Anyway, everyone knows that frugality is a traditional virtue that needs to be carried forward. It was then that I fell into thought. If things can't be used for what they are, what's the point of inventing them? Do people really need to suffer unnecessarily just to practice frugality, even when living conditions are sufficient? If so, then what is the point of technological progress if we cannot even enjoy the fruits of social development? Indeed, we've been taught from an early age to be frugal, but from all this abnormal behavior, What I saw wasn't frugality, but the meaningless consumption of the earth's resources. Money spent, but not in return for a higher quality of life. Conditions improved, but not in return for a healthier body. But what can we do to change that? I thought of tracing to the source of frugal behavior to figure out. As is known to all, there was a period of severe famine in China in the 1940s. At that time, a serious food crisis has been triggered across large areas of China due to various reasons. One can imagine the act of excessive frugality can easily occur for a person who has experienced a period of extreme material deprivation like this. People who had experienced a hard time are always afraid that one day they will fall into this terrible disaster again. Even when living conditions improved, they are constantly haunted by the anxiety and fear of poverty. Now it seems that the idea of excessive frugality becomes understandable. In the face of elders accustomed to excessive frugality, we should learn to understand. Maybe they just can't get rid of the shadow that dates back to that severe famine. What we can do is to stop blaming them, stop looking down upon them, to create an affluent life for them, dispelling their anxieties about poverty. Step by step, let them learn to enjoy life and see, oh, the society has developed and we don't have to suffer now. Paying for enjoyment is not unreasonable. Think about it, we work and study day and night. It is natural that there will be moments when we are exhausted. If at this time you see a movie, attend a concert, have a big meal, or go out traveling to see the beautiful scenery, how can the low mood not disappear? Such consumption may not be necessary, but this seemingly useless consumption makes people see the good side of life, feel their enthusiasm about life, and thus have more motivation to work hard for a better life. Well, I don't mean to suggest that frugality is not a virtue. What I'm trying to tell you is that there are no absolute invariable moral rules, and we need to develop critical thinking autonomously to keep our mind up to date. Living in an era of rapid development, only when we embrace the fruits of social progress from the bottom of our hearts can the development of science and technology truly achieve its original purpose to benefit humanity. Thank you.